Hi everyone. Today I have another knife to show you, and this is the Michael Burch Green Boson. And when I first saw this knife, I thought, wow, that's such an amazing looking piece. So let's get it open. Yep. So where shall we start? This build, I thought, it's such an amazing looking build, and it's obviously the showpiece is, on the frame and on the pivot, where he uses green, I'm not sure what material this is. Maybe it's green carbo tie, but that's such a beauty. So the way he does the pivot is, it's not fully flat, it's raised and rounded, and he inlays the green micarta inside, and then he has to kind of sand down the sides to match on all sides, which is really beautiful, and it gives this 3D effect when the pivot is not just flat, it's 3D. It's got a lovely polish on it, and it's the same on both sides. The pivot collar is so cool. It's just incredible. Next up, the frame as well. I love how he has these two patterns lining up, on both sides, and the inlays are flush. You can barely feel any seam. Just basically seamless if you run it with your hand. Really incredible. And the blade, this blade I think is quite a bit sharper than Michael's usual one, because the hollow grind he does on these ones are thin. Usually I feel like it's a little bit more thick on his previous knives, and if you've seen my channel, you've seen that I've had quite a few Michael Burches, but they don't thin out quite as much as this blade does, which makes it a whole lot sharper, and that's a killer hollow grind. I really like this improvement. I'm not sure when he started doing thinner hollow grinds on his knives, but this is the first I've seen, and it's a 2024 build. For reference, if you're coming from in a lot later to watch the video, at least you can get the time reference. Check out the thumb stud. Again, this one is not flush, it's rounded, which means that the material has to be proud, and he sanded all of the sides equally, because this is perfectly rounded, and that's such a beautiful detail that he did. Let's check out the plunge grind. Pretty much on point. A little bit difficult to tell because the pattern is not exactly in the middle, but it's pretty much on point. Michael's plunge grinds are very, very well done. Even the pocket clip has the same feature. Such a beautiful knife. And the action, Michael always makes very solid actions. This one has a detent that is a little stronger than what I'm used to. Yep, perfectly centered. The sound is really, really addicting. Listen to that close. It's got a little bit of a metallic sound to it, and it's extremely smooth. You can't tell which position that it's at when you're closing the knife, but it fires open really, really hard. And you can also slow roll it you hold it tight and kind of slow roll it too, if you don't want to flick it open hard every time. This piece is a little bit small for me. I didn't realize that the boson was smaller, so I can get maybe 4 fingers is a little bit tight, but for a manual flip, I guess manual opener with the thumb stud openers, it's kind of hard to get like all 4 hands. Usually if it's longer, you can kind of dig it into your hand more, which is more in this position where I'm more comfortable in opening the knife. But here you kind of have to like hold it out a little bit, because it is smaller. So that's the thing with the smaller manual openers. I think it's a little bit not as ergonomic as the larger ones. Whereas, for flipper knives, I have much less of a problem because you can put it here and you can still, open it, no problem. So that's something to be aware of when you buy a smaller folding knife. I think some of the edges, like right here, is actually a little bit sharp. It does feel a little bit sharp, not as rounded off as I would have liked, like this edge of the pocket clip, which, that's something I haven't noticed on his previous builds, but it is on this one. But if that's something, it's not like super sharp, but if that's something that annoys you, it's a little pointy on those 2 areas. It's not really a hot spot, so when you operate it normally, even when opening, closing, holding, using, it doesn't really dig into your hand as a hot spot. But it is there if you like kind of feel the knife, fondle with the knife. But yeah, that's basically it. I just wanted to show you this new Michael Burch Green Boson. Thank you for checking it out, and see you next time.